Hey guys, welcome to Cooking with Cuse. As always, this is Nate and this is...
And I'm George.
So, George, welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Nate.
What are we making today?
So we are making a dish that's very near and dear to my heart, Nate.
Okay.
As you know, you've known me since summer boot camp, right? I come from Middle Eastern background, and this is a dish that really hits close to home. We are making hummus and homemade pita chips from the ground up.
Very exciting. So,
Yeah.
what does this mean to you?
So this means a lot to me, you know, because obviously growing up in a Middle Eastern household, my mom always, since we were kids, this is the appetizer that my mom always made, you know, growing up, whether it's a party, whether it's Thanksgiving, which is coming up, and we're going to have hummus right there, right then. And every time, as I got a little bit older, I wanted to learn how to make it, and now every single holiday, every single event that we have going on, I'm the person that's making the hummus. So I kind of perfected this recipe, I'm not going to lie.
Awesome. So, let's do it.
All right, let's go. So the first thing we're going to do, Gloria, is we are going to be making the homemade pita chips because it does take a while. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to start off with some lukewarm water.
Okay.
And what I mean by lukewarm is you don't want it to be too hot, you don't want it to be too cold, you want it to be like Goldilocks, okay? Just right. So that way that the yeast and the sugar can have time to develop, okay? So we're going to take a little bit of our active dry yeast.
Okay.
I'm going to pour it in the water right there. And we're going to take 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar.
Okay.
This is just going to allow the yeast to have something to feed off of and allow it to bloom a little bit. So we are going to mix that up a little bit, and we will pour it right here into our lovely dough hook. All right. And we're going to let it sit there for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a little bit foamy.
Perfect.
And if it doesn't get foamy, that means your yeast is a little bit on the old side. You want to start again with some new yeast.
Amazing.
So that's what we got. Okay, so now we're going to get our flour. This is particularly bread flour because we're making pita bread. It just makes sense to make bread flour.
Sure.
But I'm sure you could use all-purpose flour or any other flour. So we also have in here already is 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Always, you want to add a little pinch of salt to anything that you do. Brings out the flavor and everything. So while the yeast is blooming, we're just going to take this, and after the yeast for 5 to 10 minutes, once it gets a little bit foamy, we're going to toss that in there for the dough hook.
Okay. Okay. Now the yeast is bloomed, so
Yeah.
can you tell us what to do next?
Sure. So we got our bread flour here. We got about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, or you could just do a little pinch, you know, whatever you want. Just a little pinch of salt, right? No. I was thinking like a little pinch of sugar helps the medicine go down. It's not a pinch of salt, it's a pinch of sugar, which is already in there.
Yeah.
So I guess it does help the medicine go down anyway.
So it's
Shout out Mary Poppins.
medicinal either way.
Right, it is.
Okay.
So it's going to help the medicine go down. Okay, but now that our yeast is bloomed, we are just going to take the flour and the salt mixture, and we are just going to pour it right in there. Come on. I'm going to take this out real quick just so we... A little easier to get in there. Perfect. All right.
And now we're going to want to make sure we mix it and make it look like dough, right?
Now we want to make it look like dough. Fun fact, this is my first time doing this.
Oh.
So look
Well,
at that.
Mine too, so.
Making a little history here on Cooking with Cuse.
Here we go.
All right. Now we attach our little dough hook. This is what a dough hook looks like.
It's not scary at all.
No, it doesn't, right?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Okay. I might have to raise this up a little bit because the dough hook's not reaching the bottom of the pot. That's okay. Oh, is there a crank? Wow. Look at that. I appreciate it, Nate. Thank you so much. Okay. So now we just turn it on. Oh, it's going. And now we just wait until...
Sure.
Now we just wait until it makes a dough. And if your dough is a little bit wet, so to say, we can put a little bit more flour in order to make it look like dough.
Okay.
The way dough is supposed to look.
Okay, so now that it looks like dough, what do we do next?
So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our bowl here with our dough hook. Just make sure that all the dough is off the dough hook. There we go. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our spatula, we're just going to scrape down the sides a little bit, just so we make sure that nothing's sticking to the sides here.
Sure, you want all the dough.
I want all of it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil,
Okay.
and we're going to put a little bit on our gloves here, more like a lot. That's my fault. Rub it in like lotion. And we're going to take our dough. Come on, bear with me. Look at that. And we're just going to coat the dough in olive oil. This is just so that when we saran wrap it, it doesn't stick to the saran wrap, you know? So it's easier to handle, easier to.
Okay. How do you know when you're done?
When it's, I guess when it's shiny.
Ah, okay.
My shiny teeth that twinkle. No, okay, I'm not gonna go into Fairly Odd Parents here. Okay, so now that the dough is covered in olive oil, make sure that it's a nice round circle. We're going to take our handy dandy. This is me with saran wrap all the time. I always like just rip the thing out for some reason. It just does not like me.
Okay. I don't know that it'll like me any better, but.
Oh, Nate.
So now we just cover it like this?
Just cover it like that.
Perfect. We're going to want it to be all the way covered.
Yeah.
And then how long will this sit?
So now you want to put it in a warm place. You can put it in the oven. You could turn it to about like 80, 90, or if you want to turn your house temperature up to 80, 90 degrees, you could do that as well, and then you could let it rest in a warm place. Has to rest in a warm place, not too hot, because that allows the dough to double in size. So we have our oven set at around like 80, 90 degrees.
Perfect.
Let's put it in the oven, and we're going to let it proof for about 20 minutes or until it's doubled in size.
Perfect. Okay, so now it's been proofed
Yeah.
for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And has doubled in size. So
If
what do
we-
we do next?
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take saran wrap off. All right. Look at that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is very important. We want to make sure that we flour our cutting board.
Okay, we wouldn't want it to stick.
We don't want it to stick. And the more flour, the better, because obviously if you stick dough to cutting board, it's not going to be good. So
Sure.
I like a little bit of extra on the cutting board. There we go. You could also flour your hands as well, so that when you take the dough out, it's easier to slide right off there.
Okay, so now we're going to take the dough out.
So now we're going to take our dough out,
Okay.
put it right on there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now that it's floured and on our cutting board, what we're going to do is we're going to take our box scraper here and we're going to cut it into 4 equal pieces. Make sure you don't overwork the dough, because obviously it's bad. So we're going to cut it like this, and then long ways like that. All right. So now we take one section here.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're just going to make it into a little ball.
Okay.
Okay? And you just want to tuck it in underneath, just like this.
Okay. It's a ball, so
Yep.
I think we
Tuck in
followed
the edge.
that
This,
correctly.
again, we don't want to
Overwork
it in general. So just
Sure.
4 equal balls. Tuck it in.
Amazing.
Okay. Look at that.
All right, now we've rolled it in 4. What do we do next?
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a damp towel
Damp.
or rag. Damp. Not soaking wet.
Okay.
Damp. Make sure it's damp. And we're just going to put our little dough balls to rest for about 15 minutes to allow it to proof some more. You don't need to put this in the oven or anything. You just need to let it sit to the side to allow it to proof a little bit more.
Sounds good.
And then once it's ready, 15 minutes, we're ready to cook some pita bread.
Awesome. Okay, now it's rested for 15 minutes, and I think we're gonna make it look like pita.
Oh, we're gonna make it look like pita. Oh yeah. All right, we're ready for this. Okay, so now that it's rested for 15 minutes, the unveil. Look at this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So again, you could have 2 cutting boards. I find it easier to use 2 different ones just so you don't have too much chaos going on. But make sure that the surface is floured. So just going to put
a little more flour here.
A little bit more.
Okay.
Another important part, you want to flour the rolling pin.
Okay. And why is that again?
So we just don't want the dough sticking to anything.
Okay.
You know, and it makes it easier to roll out the dough if it's
perfect
floured. Okay, so we're going to roll it like this. And you want it about 1/4 of an inch thick, not paper thin. Pita bread is traditionally not paper thin. It is traditionally a little bit on the thicker side. So 1/4 of an inch thick. I think that's good. It's also going to, once you cook, it's also going to expand because of the flour. Okay, so there we go. So now,
well, rumor has it that the only way to make it expand is if it has a couple of holes in it. Am I?
You are absolutely right. We got a hand-grenade fork here.
Okay.
And we're just gonna. Okay.
Beautiful.
There we go.
And then now we put it in the pan.
Now we can put. Actually, no, it doesn't hurt to do it on the other side too, right? Why not? Okay, so now we're gonna move it over to our skillet here.
Okay.
Treat it with tender love and care.
And how much time did you say you want on each side?
So we're gonna flip it every 3 minutes or until it's brown on each side. You want it at around medium-high heat. You don't want it too hot or else it's gonna burn the outside and the inside is still gonna be a little bit doughy. So medium-high heat, flip every 3 minutes or until it's brown.
Okay. Okay, so it looks pretty ready to me, right?
It does, look at that.
I'm like, brown.
There it is.
So now what?
All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to cut our lovely pita bread, homemade pita bread, into 16 little triangles.
Exciting.
Yeah. So, first thing we're gonna do, get a knife. Be careful, please. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. We're gonna cut it in half.
So, kind of like a cake.
Kind of like a cake, you know? And I find it easier to like stack it up on each other and then cut it in half again. And then cut it in half again. We'll take this side in half. Everything is halves when you cut, you know? And then we will do these 4 little triangles. We'll do it one more time. Okay, we got this. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we'll do this one. Would you like to do the last one?
Sure.
All right.
So we just cut it in half.
Just cut it in half. There you go.
Perfect.
Natural.
Okay, so now we're going to make them into pita chips, correct?
We are going to make them into pita chips now. So we have our triangles here. Also, you can cut the triangles as big or as small as you want. It doesn't really matter.
Sure.
It's all personal preference, you know? So now we're going to separate our little triangles here evenly on our tray with wax paper on it, again, so our bread doesn't stick when we put it in the oven. So now what we want to do, obviously we could just put this in the oven just like this, but we want a little bit of flavor.
Sure.
So we're going to take our olive oil. Again, the olive oil is pretty much just going to help it from sticking to the bottom of the pan and also allows the seasoning to, also it's going to allow it to crisp up a little bit more. Okay. And now we are going to season it with salt, pepper, and I like to get a little crazy, so I'm going to do a little bit of cumin as well.
Okay.
So
It's real crazy of you.
we'll just all right, so now we're going to salt. Look at that. Crystals.
Perfect.
Okay. Now we're going to get our cumin. Put it like that. Ooh. Get a little crazy with the cumin.
Looks good, looks good.
Yeah. Smells great too. Make sure everybody gets a little bit of cumin. Okay. And now we're going to put this in the oven at around 425 for about 5 minutes or until it gets golden brown.
Perfect. All right, so they looked pretty crisp to me. So we're going
Yeah.
to take the pita chips out of the oven now, right?
Oh man, they look great.
They look awesome.
Look at that.
Okay. So that looks pretty good to me.
Look at that.
All right, George, let's make some hummus.
Let's make some hummus,
Okay.
Nate. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So what are we going to do first?
So the first thing we're going to do is obviously we have 2 whole cloves of garlic here.
Right, okay.
But obviously we're not going to put it in the food processor like this. We need to mince it. Brings out
Okay.
the flavor in the garlic, you know?
Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and start that.
Why don't you go ahead and start
And
that?
then why don't you walk us through what we're going to do after this?
Sure. So obviously the base of hummus is chickpeas.
Chickpeas.
Yes. Chickpeas is also one of my favorite, the base of one of my favorite Middle Eastern dishes, falafel.
Oh,
So
there you go.
we use chickpeas in a lot of things. We have tahini, which again is the base of hummus. We
And
have
what
two
is tahini? I've always wondered.
I honestly never
We
learned
don't
what
know.
tahini
It's just one of
is.
those culinary
It's just
mysteries.
one of those culinary mysteries. And
Okay.
I've been told to put tahini in hummus,
And you
so
just
that's
do
what I
what
do.
you just do what you're told.
That's just what I'm told. Story of my life.
And I'm doing what I'm told right now. so,
Yes.
you know.
You know, mincing the garlic. We also have cumin, which is going to go in the hummus and also on top as a garnish.
Okay.
Now, traditionally in hummus, you also season with red pepper flakes, but if you know me, I have the worst spice tolerance in the history of America.
That's true.
Or probably
That's
the
true.
world, so I am not going to be doing red pepper flakes for this one, but
If at home you've got a
If at
better
home-
spice tolerance than George,
feel free to put as much red pepper flakes as you want.
yeah. You
so
can call an audible on that one.
We
okay.
also got salt, and we got fresh lemon juice
Okay.
for the hummus as
That's
well.
awesome. Picked off the lemon tree just this morning.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Only the best for this hummus.
Only the best.
You could also use bottled lemon juice as well. You don't have to
Right,
use,
but we
you
would
know,
never do that here.
we would never do that.
Okay, I'm mincing the garlic.
Mincing the garlic.
How minced do we need it? It's going in the food processor.
Looks just like that. That's fine.
Looks just like that?
Totally
Perfectly
fine.
done
Just
by
need a little
me.
bit of fine chop. Great job.
Okay, great.
So proud of you.
Thank you so much, George.
You're so welcome.
All right, George, what's next?
So now that Nate has beautifully minced up those garlic for us, great job, Nate. Very good job.
Thank
okay,
you, thank
we are
you.
going to start making the hummus. And hummus is one of those dishes where you just put it all in a food processor
And let the processor do the
and
work.
let the processor do the work. So we're gonna
Okay.
take our lid off right here.
Yep.
Now, like I said, be careful because there is a blade in here,
Oh my God.
right?
Yeah, that's scary.
It is scary, but if you don't press the on button, it won't go on. So,
That sounds right to me.
so do not press the on button while it's
And
clicking.
then it won't go on. It's an easy mnemonic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna blend up our chickpeas first.
Okay.
Okay. Then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients.
Okay, great.
So we'll take the lid off our chickpeas here. Oh, also make sure before you do chickpeas, this is about a can's worth of chickpeas.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you wash it and strain the
Okay,
chickpeas can
great,
first, which we did
great.
ahead of time. But
Right.
just for the viewers at home,
Right, that's why they look so clean and good.
Exactly, right.
Okay,
So
so
there
we'll
we-
pour those in there.
we're gonna pour those in there. I'm actually going to save a few chickpeas to garnish with a little bit.
That's awesome.
what we
That's going to
always
look
do.
great. Okay.
So now,
Put the lid
lid
back on.
back on.
Make sure you put the lid on tight.
there we go.
There we go.
You want to hear that click?
And now the on's going to turn it on.
Now the on's going to turn it on.
And the off turns it off.
And the off turns it
It's just
off.
like magic.
Just like magic.
All right, so what's going to go in next?
So now, the next thing that's going to go on is we're going to do the tahini. Now, I like to do 3 tablespoons worth of tahini.
Okay.
But we always, you know, one of the things about hummus is that we could always put more, put less.
You taste it and then you can keep seasoning and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now that's got a thing on top still.
Oh, this has the film on top.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
whoever did this did a great job because I could not tell.
I know, it's almost perfectly translucent. There we go. Yeah, that's. They
All right,
didn't make
well,
it easy on
It didn't make it easy on you.
All
It's
right,
okay.
no problem. No problem, because we can adapt,
We can adapt.
because we're smart guys.
Okay.
All right, so now you said a tablespoon?
3.
3 more than I said. Or
Yes.
2 more than I said.
2 more than you said.
Okay, math's
three times
not
even.
my strong suit. Okay,
Okay.
so we're putting 3 tablespoons in.
Yep.
Count along with us at home.
That's 1.
1,
This is more like. That's
2,
2. And
3 and a little bit more.
3 and a little bit more.
Perfect.
Now we're a little bit dripping here.
Hey, that's okay.
It happens.
It happens. Don't cry over spilt tahini. That's what I always say.
Nope. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Nate.
No problem.
So
George.
now we are going to add in our garlic.
Garlic. Okay.
We add garlic in every Middle Eastern cuisine. at least in
Garlic's
my
great.
household.
I don't
Garlic
see
is
why
great.
not. Watch out, George.
Almost smacked me in the face there. Would have been a viral moment.
That would have made us finally go viral. I had smacked you with
Oh.
a knife. No, okay. Well,
I'd be
this is
honored.
going viral anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a guarantee. Okay. What next?
So now we're going to add a little bit of salt.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. And this is just you eyeball it.
We just eyeball it. Yeah, you just need a little. And again, you could just add. Why isn't this coming out?
Yeah. There we go. Uh huh.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. And like I said, we could always add more. And cumin.
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 There we go. And be
This-
careful there. There's no top on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells amazing. Cumin smells so good.
Amazing.
Okay. I love how delicately you're doing this.
Yes.
You're sort of like Salt Bay.
Oh, thank you. That's such a compliment.
You're my hummus bay, George.
What a guy. Making me emotional here. Okay. So now we're going to add some fresh lemon juice.
Okay, great. Make sure there's no seeds. Oh my God, George!
Don't
you gotta wear
squirt
safety
yourself in the
goggles
eye.
for this thing. Okay. Oh no, but you can't see it.
I
by
can't
the-
see the.
Okay. That's good. Okay, great. Oh my God, George, you're so strong.
Thanks, man. I work out a little bit.
Woo!
Potent.
All right, that's where.
If your lemon don't look like this,
Then
you
what?
ain't doing it right.
That's right.
Okay.
If your lemon don't look like this, you ain't doing it. Can I give this one a try? Or no, we don't need more.
We could add more. I like to only do half of it, and then
Okay,
we can
okay.
taste test to see if we need more.
Absolutely.
I
just wanted to prove that I could do
You
it.
wanted to do it as well. Okay. So now, since we got all the ingredients in,
Yep.
now we just blend it up.
Okay.
And again, remember,
On means on.
on means on,
Off means off.
off means off.
There's a knife inside.
There's a blade inside.
Okay. Oh, it looks like, should we push down the sides a little bit?
We absolutely should. That's a great call, Nate.
The chickpeas rose up the sides of the wall, so we're just going to push those down. I think this is the clean spatula. Or,
Clean spatula.
Is this a spatula? What do you call this?
I call it spatula.
I don't know what. All right.
Spatula.
I call it Jeff.
You call it Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. And let's get her going.
There we go. Now remember, on means on.
What was that reaction?
Now,
What was that reaction?
no,
George?
it's coming together, but it looks like we need to add a little bit more tahini
Okay.
because
All right.
it's still a little bit thick.
It's a little thick.
It's a little chunky.
It's a little chunky.
We don't want it a little. We want it like smooth.
Okay.
You know. So
right. So if it comes out like this, it's a little chunky. I'll show the camera so you can see what that looks like. We're just going to add a little tahini to it to get that more like, liquid, right?
yes, it's supposed to look like paste, not puke. If that makes sense.
Don't say it looks like puke. There we
Or
go.
oatmeal.
Locked in.
We locked in.
Looks like the blade. There.
There it is.
Okay. All right. How much tahini should I add?
Why don't you add a tablespoon or two more?
Okay. 1 or 2? You tell me, boss.
Let's do 2.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Great job. So
you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let's try that again.
Okay.
This is the great part about hummus, right? We experiment. On means on.
How are we looking?
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
You're good. That's looking more like hummus.
That
it's
is
smelling
looking
more like hummus.
It's smelling more like hummus. Why don't we add 1 more tablespoon of tahini?
God, you're crazy.
I know.
You're just crazy.
I'm crazy.
Okay. There we go.
I want to impress my family.
Right.
Want to make sure that it looks just like mom.
Mom's hummus.
My mom's hummus. Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't look like your mom.
It does not. Looks like my mom's hummus.
Right.
Hi, mom.
All right.
I love you. Okay.
All right.
Now that looks
Yeah,
good.
That looks good. It
That looks
smells
good.
amazing.
Why don't we scrape down the sides a little bit, Nate, and then we'll
Okay.
blend it up a little bit more.
All right, you got it.
Make sure everything is evenly incorporated.
Yep. But it's gonna have just a little bit of texture because it's homemade. It's not,
Yes,
you know,
it's-
store-made,
Right.
factory-made, whatever. It's not gonna be perfectly processed. It's gonna
Homemade.
feel like you made it yourself, and it's
Yeah.
got that great texture.
Exactly.
Let's scrape that up.
And if you want it a little bit more pasty, you could add more tahini, you could add more lemon juice, and you could also thin it out with water. Fun fact.
There you go. All right.
So there we go. Let's
put
blend
the
it up
top
a little
back
bit.
on and see what we got.
Remember,
On means on.
on means on, blade inside.
Show that to the camera. Let them see.
Show it to the cam,
See
show it
what
to the
we're
fans
working
at home. Yeah,
Look at that. That's hummus. That's undeniably hummus.
that is undeniably hummus.
Okay. So can I just stick a pita chip in there and try it right now?
If you want to try it right now and we could add more ingredients, sure, Nate, be
Or
my guest.
see how it's doing, right?
See how it's
Because you
doing.
said you want to taste to make sure
Right.
whether we need to add more lemon, add more cumin,
Tahini,
whatever.
salt.
Okay. All right. So let's each take a taste. There
Thank
you
you,
go.
sir.
That's perfect.
I think it's really good.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's got
Homemade.
just perfect flavor
Right.
and great texture. That's amazing. Thanks,
Yeah.
George.
No problem.
I think your mom's gonna be proud.
I hope she is.
Thanks so much.